ladies and gentlemen, the Salvation Army Philly Kroc Jazz Orchestra. are so glad that you have joined us for this Pioneer live stream event. I am Captain Kevin, the Associate Administrator here at the Kroc Center, and tonight your eardrums will be caressed by the musical harmonies of the Philly Kroc Jazz Orchestra. You will also get to hear from some of our band members, learning maybe a little bit more about them. This is all being done promoting our concert that is happening this Wednesday, the 13th at 7 p.m., The Sounds of Season, where you can come and hear the Let's Play Youth Orchestra and Philly Kroc Jazz Orchestra join together, making Sounds of the Season happen. As a repertory jazz orchestra, the Philly Kroc Jazz Orchestra exists to entertain, enrich, and to expand the international community of jazz through performance, education, and advocacy. Through the three basic forms of what defines jazz, improvisation, swing, and the blues, we are able to encourage and celebrate our personal freedom through individual expression while maintaining a common ground with others that allows us the opportunity to face any adversity with persistent optimism. We align ourselves with the mission of the Salvation Army and support their efforts to serve the needs in the community through music endeavors. What you just heard was Good Evening, Mrs. Gardner, composed by our orchestra director, John Gardner, who wrote for his wife, who we now know as Mrs. Gardner. And I just want to say, John, thank you for making all of us guys look really bad in this situation. That featured Jack Osmond on the keys, Glenn DeGeorge on T-Bone, Steve Dash on bass, and Jerry Tannenbaum on drums. And now, though no one in modern days have ever experienced it, nothing says Christmas more than sitting by a fire watching chestnuts pop, pop, pop. Here is Sleigh Ride by Leroy Anderson, arranged by John LeBarbara, featuring Jordan Grape on tenor sax, A.J. Yoon on guitar. Giddy up, giddy up, giddy up. Let's go, boys. feel like I'm at the home of Farmer Gray already. Hey guys, did you hear Johnny wants a pair of skates and Susie wants a sled? But choose for me, dear Santa Claus, what you think is best. Here is Jolly Old Saint Nick, composed by Hanby and Horton, arranged by Jeff Holmes, featuring John Gardner. Take it away, boys.
My name is Tom Scheibner, and I'm from the Salvation Army's Territorial Music Department in New York. I've enjoyed listening to the Philly Kroc Jazz Orchestra play their first few charts, and they sound terrific. And now we're going to get the chance to interview a few members to get to know them in a more personal way. Gentlemen, welcome tonight. It's great to be with you. Can we start by just having you tell us your names and where you're from?
Do you want to go first, or you want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thanks, Chief.
Yeah, sure.
Hello, my name is John C. Gardner, and I'm originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, but I've now come to call Philadelphia as my home.
I'm Jordan Grafe. I grew up about an hour north of Philadelphia in Boyertown, PA, and now I'm living in PA, in Philadelphia, PA.
Great. Now, we can see what instruments you play, both saxophone players, an alto and a tenor. How long have each of you been playing your instruments? How many years, would you say?
Oh, man, I have to math. Well, I know I've been playing saxophone since the 3rd grade. So 3rd grade and math equals that number of years.
Okay.
Since 4th grade, I'd say about 17 years.
Sure, I'll go with that too.
Okay. Now, each of you, could you please tell us a bit about your profession, what you do for a living, and also why is music education so important, such a big deal for each of you?
Sure. Well, I mean, I teach music for a living. I teach elementary and middle school band at St. Patrick's School in Malvern twice a week, and I also do a lot of private lesson instruction on saxophone, clarinet, and piano, and then just a lot of writing and a lot of playing out and stuff like that. And for me, why music education is such a big deal, it makes you feel a part of something. I mean, for me, when I was a kid, if it wasn't for playing saxophone, I probably would have failed math. As you can tell, my math skills are very bad going from 3rd grade up until now counting, But in all seriousness, no, it was when in 3rd grade we started doing fractions, and I started getting that relation. And for me, music education is not only about learning how to play an instrument and play great music with a great group of people, but I'm able to use this to connect in different ways. Like, it's helped me study more because I want to be proficient on my horn as well as proficient at writing. So it made me become more studious, I guess. So I guess in essence, music education, why it's important for me, is that it it helps affect all aspects of life. There's more that you can do with it.
How about you, Jordan?
I'm also a music educator, class instrumental music teacher in the Philadelphia School District. So my job, I go around to multiple schools within a week and teach kids to play whatever instrument they bring in. So, I mean, growing up, similar to John, music was always a great outlet for me. I had great teachers growing up. I think it's a wonderful gift to have every kid experience music, and yeah, that's pretty much the reason why. It's a great gift to have. Everybody should be able to have it. There's so many things you can do with it. John touched on a few of them. We could be here for hours listing all the great things about music.
Yeah.
So I won't go into that, but I had great teachers that grew a love for it, and I want other people to have that same appreciation going forward.
Okay. How long about have each of you been in this band?
I've been in it since the very beginning when we started, soon to be 5 years ago come January. It was our first rehearsal 5 years ago in January.
Okay.
So yeah, I've been leading the group for the last 4.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say I came in soon after, so 4-ish, 3.5, 4 years, I think.
I'd say that's about right, yeah.
And finally, last question. What brought each of you into the band? Why did you choose to play with this ensemble?
Well, for me, a friend of mine, Rachel Pistevka, I'm a co-worker with her for leading tone lessons, and in fact, one of our friends, mutual friend, Jason Collier, called me up asking if I was interested in joining a community big band that he was starting to put together here at the Salvation Army Kroc Center in Philly. And I said, sure, man. I mean, I'd love to, come out, play some good tunes, hang with some good people, have a couple of good jokes and such, it'd be cool.
That's tough, good jokes.
Yes, it is tough.
A similar story to John's. A friend of mine who was playing with the group at the time, who's now moved on to New York and teaching there, asked me to come out and play, and said, sure, why not? I think it's a great
Oh,
thing
yeah,
to
well,
keep
actually,
playing,
that's
especially as a teacher. You should never give up playing to,
No.
you know, it's beneficial for all your students as well. So,
Yeah.
yeah, why not? It's great music, a bunch of different styles, a bunch of different people, and it's a great group to work with.
Great. Well, thank you for your answers. You sound terrific. Let's hear some more music.
All right, you got it, boss. Thanks, Tom.
Oh, I got a problem. I need more coffee. I got a fever. And the only prescription is more coffee. I need more coffee, baby. One of my favorite songs, one of my favorite drinks, arranged and composed by John Gardner, featuring Jordan Grape and the bass man, Steve Dash. Brew it, baby, brew it.
Hello, gentlemen. Welcome. It's great to see you tonight.
Hello, Tom. Hi, Tom.
Could you first share with me your names and what instrument you play in the band?
Jerry Tannenbaum, and I play the drums.
Jerry Bacalino, trumpet.
And can you recall about how long altogether have you guys been playing your instruments? How many years?
Can you recall that far back?
Well, I started when I was 8, and I'm like much older than that now,
Okay.
so it's been a long time.
I started when I was 10 and close to half a century now.
Okay, great.
Wow.
Now,
Dude, 47 years.
from what I understand, perhaps there was a time when you weren't playing for a bit. Is that true? Did you take off a little bit of time for playing and then you came back to it, or have you been playing all those years straight through?
Well, I actually, many years ago, played professionally. I have a degree in music, and I was playing professionally when I was first married. And when my first son was born, he was about 3 years old, I went to law school. And when I went to school, I felt so bad about leaving the music that I actually stopped even listening to music for a while. And I got out of the habit of it, and I wasn't practicing, and I wasn't, like I said, not even listening. And it wasn't for about 15 years later when I started to listen again, and that brought me back to how much I really loved the music and how much I really missed the music, and I started playing again.
Okay, Jerry, do you have a similar story? Or?
Similar. I played high school, college, a little bit after college. I played professionally for a while. I didn't major in music, but we were heavily, I was in many bands and played a lot. And then when I moved to Philadelphia, I got out of the professional scene. I got married, had a family, and really didn't have an opportunity to get into anything. Played a couple of pit bands and Easter Sunday things, but nothing very regular. So when the Kroc band got started, then I was able to play a lot more.
Good. And I guess to follow up on that, what brought you back into playing in this particular band?
Well, for me, I knew one of the players that was playing in the band. I played in a small jazz quartet, and he was a former bass player in the band. And so he kept talking to me about trying to join the band. And there's not very many opportunities to play with a big band. And for myself, big band music was one of the first kinds of jazz music that I ever heard. Because when I was a kid, we used to hear Buddy Rich on the Johnny Carson show.
By the way, I've shaken Buddy Rich's hand, believe it or not. I didn't wash it for a while after that. But yeah.
Oh, he's quite the player. So this was a great opportunity to not only continue to get back into playing like I was doing at the time, but to play in a style that is it's not that open to you, right? There's not that many opportunities to play like this.
Great. And how about you, Jerry? Same type of thing?
Almost, yeah. I've been here since the beginning. I'm a member of the Kroc Center here, so I actually early in the morning coming to work out saw an advertisement for, do you want to be in a big band? And it was 2 days before the first rehearsal, so it was God's work in giving me an opportunity. I live 5 minutes from here, so this is just a wonderful place for me for a number of reasons.
And have you both been playing with the band since it started, basically, or less than that, or about
Me
how long?
less.
Yeah.
Jerry
Yeah,
from the
me
beginning.
since the beginning, right.
Okay,
This is about, I guess it's been about a year and a half that I've been playing in the band.
great. Well, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to get to know you both.
Thank
a
you.
bit better.
Thank you, Tom.
In 1986, a Salvationist musician from Australia wrote probably the first big band sounding piece for a Salvation Army brass band called Light Walk. Tonight we're going to play this song, and of course we've put our own Kroc twist to it as our jazz director John Gardner has arranged this. Featuring John Gardner playing sax, Fred, who his family only knows how to say his last name, Mbese, Mbisi, Mabase, something. And we do love you, Fred. And Jerry Tannenbaum on drums. This will be followed by a traditional Lo How Arose, arranged by Bob Cardinal now. The words you're probably not familiar with, as it says, Lo how a rose, ere a blooming, from tender stem have sprung, of Jesse's lineage coming, at those of old have sung. It came a floweret bright amid the cold of winter, when half spent was the night. The prophet kind of speaks about this, the prophet Isaiah in chapter 11, verse 1, saying, "And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, a branch shall grow out his roots." Further in Isaiah 35, he says, "The wilderness and the solitary place shall be glad for them, and the desert shall rejoice and blossom as the rose." This is why we celebrate Christmas, because we know this rose as the rose of Sharon, the lily of the valley, Jesus Christ. And I've heard a very wise man say, the song's about Jesus, so enjoy it.
I was present for the world premiere of that item at the Salvation Army's institution called Star Lake Music Camp back in the late 1980s. And it's been very popular since that time. And the second item happens to be my wife's favorite Christmas carol. So I wish she would have been here tonight with me. She would have enjoyed that, I'm sure. Well, welcome. Now, just because you're here by yourself doesn't mean you're going to get twice the amount of questions, so don't worry about that. But could you tell us who you are, give us your name, and where you're from, please?
Sure, I'm Craig Cerrito, and I live in Philadelphia, originally from Rhode Island.
Okay, great. And how long have you been playing the sax?
I started at age 10. I played for 15 years all the way through college, and then I dropped it cold turkey for about 20 years, and then was re-inspired about 6 years ago to pick it up again.
Okay, now it leads me directly into the next question. What inspired you to pick up the horn again?
You know, I couldn't explain the inspiration because I had no interest in it for 20 years, and then all of a sudden, I really wanted to play again. And now I understand the plan the Lord had, because I was overheard practicing by the music director here at the Kroc one day, and he invited me to come into the Salvation Army music program through a gospel band that he had. And then when he formed this jazz band, he asked me to play saxophone in the band. And so I fully understand that the Lord wants me playing for him, and I'm very honored and blessed to do that.
Well, that's great, a terrific story. How long then have you been playing with the band?
Since its beginning, almost 5 years ago. I think in the summer we're going to celebrate our 5th anniversary.
Great. And can you tell us a bit more about yourself, what you do for your profession, things like that?
Sure. I'm a missionary and a pastor at an inner city ministry here in Philadelphia.
Great. Well, thank you, Craig.
Thank you.
Great to hear from you.
At the Salvation Army, we are all about meeting human needs in Jesus' name without discrimination. Here at the Kroc Center, we break those needs down by body, mind, and spirit. And it is our hope that with this live broadcast, that we have touched your mind, your body, and spirit, maybe making your day and evening a bit brighter. Remember, Jesus is the reason for the season. And no matter what you might be faced with in this harsh world this Christmas season, if you have Jesus on your side in your life, you will be just fine. From all of us here at the Kroc Center, we hope you have a merry little Christmas. Here is the song composed by Martin and Blaine, arranged by David Walt, featuring vocalists Nikki Polino and Jordan Grafe on tenor sax.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Make the Yuletide gay. From now on, our troubles will be miles away. Here we are, as in olden days, happy golden days of yore. Faithful friends who are dear to us, gather near to us once more. Through the years we all will be together, if the fates allow. Hang a shining star upon the highest bough, and have yourself a merry little Christmas now. Here we are, as in olden days, happy golden days of yore. Faithful friends who are dear to us, gather near to us once more. Through the years we all will be together, if the fates allow. Hang a shining star upon the highest bough, and have yourself a merry little Christmas now. So have yourself a merry little Christmas now.
We want to thank all of you for spending some time with us tonight. I want to personally thank our Salvation Army Philly Kroc Jazz Orchestra for doing this evening. You guys rock. Or should I say jazz? Well, that's a bad Gardner joke, isn't it?
Yes. I prefer the term swing.
So thank you for sharing with us, and I want to personally thank John, our orchestra director, and Aaron Harris, our performing arts manager, for making this all happen. It's hard work trying to herd these cool cats up here, isn't it? And I want to thank Scott, our AV tech, for all his hard work this evening as well. It's also nice having Bandmaster Thomas Schreibner here with us from the Territorial Music Department. Just ask that if you're out there and you're listening, please stop by the Kroc Center at 4200 Wissahickon Avenue just to say hi, or maybe check us out on www.salvationarmykroccenter.org. And as a reminder, remember, coming up this Wednesday at 7 p.m., there will be the concert, The Sounds of the Season. Based on what you heard tonight, you do not want to miss that. Do you guys hear that? What's that I hear? Oh, it's that time of the year again when you hear the Salvation Army bell ringing all over the place, reminding us that it's Christmas time, and Christmas is a time for sharing with one another. Tonight, the last song will be Silver Bells, written by Livingston and Evans, and arranged by our very own John Gardner, featuring our lovely vocalist, Nikki Polino, A.J. Yoon, who is also very lovely on the guitar, and John Gardner, who is just John Gardner. Merry Christmas.
City sidewalks, busy sidewalks, dressed in holiday style. In the air, there's a feeling of Christmas. Children laughing, people passing, meeting smile after smile. And on every street corner, you'll hear silver bells. Silver bells, it's Christmas time in the city. Ring-a-ling, hear them ring. Soon it will be Christmas Day. City street lights, even stoplights, blink of red and green as the shoppers rush home with their treasures. Hear the snow crunch, see the kids bunch. This is Santa's big scene, and above all the bustle, you'll hear silver